Cruise boat holidays. Wow, those are great fun. Why don't we all take a trip on a giant floating hotel? Fresh air, sights, sounds, seagulls. What a tremendous trip that could be. I mean, where else could you meet 4,000 other like-minded people, all of them over 50 years old, and see up close how great they all look in bikinis and board shorts? Near naked, old, rich, mostly white people. They always look super with less clothes on. Not to mention the fabulous food. Groaning buffet tables, piled high with delicious treats. You know, I like buffets. 32 different starters, 73 different main courses, 55 different desserts. Must try them all. Eat until you pop. Alcoholic drinks, free of course, on tap. At cocktail hour, you can get to know the difference between a, slippery nipple and a fuzzy navel. Or a fearless redneck. Haven't you always wanted to try a drink called the Sand in the Crack? Or Mountain Dew Me? Now's your chance. Oh, the sights you can see, they're just great. Getting onto and off the boat in all those different places. Of course, the best part of coastal cities is not always the harbour. Okay, it's almost never the harbour. But at least they put you in a bus for a 3-hour drive around tour. Those are always brilliant. Best way to see a city. Now, the staff on cruise ships, they're also just the best. I mean, where else can you get up close and personal with 1,500 professional smilers? The onboard entertainment, that's also first rate. I know a man who once saw a troupe of Vietnamese chainsaw jugglers on a 7-day Caribbean cruise. Apparently the act was so good he went back every night. Better still, that one was followed by a hypnotist who claimed to have put both Queen Elizabeth and the Dalai Lama to sleep. Not at the same time, obviously. Now listen, cruising is generally quite safe, but disasters can happen. Do you remember 2012 when the Costa Concordia sank? It was an Italian cruise ship which ran aground and overturned after hitting an underwater rock, very close to the coast of Tuscany. Too close. The captain, Francesco Schettino was his name, he was doing a sail-by and waving at some of his mates on shore at his home village. And then when the boat flipped and started going down, Schettino jumped ship prematurely. He was blamed correctly, it would seem, for the disaster. He got 16 years in jail. But the total cost of the shipwreck, including the victim's compensation, then refloating, towing and scrapping the thing, $2 billion. 32 people died. Rough seas on a cruise boat can be super fun too. You know, in my opinion, the ocean is scary enough when it's calm, blue and full of saltiness and sharks. But it's even more petrifying when the bad weather rolls in and the sea becomes a roiling, thunderous beast. Even the largest floating hotel pitches and rolls about. Then everyone other than Captain Haddock is going to get seasick. Apparently, the thing is, you never know whether you're like me going to get sick at sea or not. You just have to try it out in the flesh. It's the luck of the draw. Some people just have, the gyros that work. And when you're on a cruise, this can be a tremendous topic of conversation with your fellow passengers over dinner. Discussing whether you like to puke standing up or sitting down, in the loo or in the basin. It's a wonderful icebreaker. Sometimes there are outbreaks of gastrointestinal tummy bugs on board called the novovirus. It's also called cruise ship fever. It spreads like wildfire and causes projectile vomiting, diarrhea, headaches and stomach cramps. Sometimes the two, the bugs and the bad weather, occur at the same time. Do you remember early 2019, there were like 300 passengers on crew on board the Royal Caribbean Oasis of the Seas, one of the world's largest cruise ships. They were struck down by an outbreak of the dreaded novovirus, and they were off the coast of Florida. Things turned nasty. People on board at the time compared it to being closed up in a construction site portaloo and then shaken around violently by a giant. Everything and everyone covered in shit. The boat turned around and went back to Port Canaveral. Everyone got a refund. Which brings me, this long rant, to the current case of the Diamond Princess. That's the boat which is now parked outside the port of Yokohama in Japan. The Diamond Princess is a super big boat operated by Princess Cruises, a division of Carnival Corporation out of the UK. The Princess was launched, set sail the first time in 2004, and it sticks to that Asian area. Capacity of 2,600 passengers and a crew complement of 1,100. On the 20th of January, that's exactly a month ago, an 80-year-old guest from Hong Kong got onto the boat in Yokohama and then they sailed back one leg to Hong Kong where he disembarked, feeling unwell. He went to a local Hong Kong hospital 6 days after leaving the ship, tested positive for coronavirus. Oh fuck. On the 4th of February, the ship was back in Japanese waters when another 10 passengers were diagnosed with the coronavirus. Oh God. The Japanese government, in all of its wisdom, decided that 3,700 passengers and crew were to be quarantined on the boat outside the port of Yokohama. Passengers with confirmed cases of coronavirus, they were to be taken on shore for treatment. The rest of them, stay on board. A Japanese infectious disease specialist who visited the Diamond Princess last week, horrified, scathing. He reported on the chaotic and scary conditions on the cruise liner that just gave the coronavirus more opportunities to spread. For example, everyone was told to stay in their cabins. Meals were delivered on a trolley by waiters who went from one cabin to the next, interacting with each of the lovely passengers one after the other, picking up the dirty plates which had been... Gosh darn it, I can't understand why that fucking virus managed to get spread around the place. It's a mystery. As of now, 621 people have tested positive for the coronavirus on the boat. So far, 2 passengers, Japanese octogenarians, have died. A whole lot of countries said screw it and decided to airlift and evacuate their citizens and fly them home to be put into quarantine there. The Japanese government insists that the whole thing was a great success. It began letting its citizens off the boat yesterday, those that tested negative, and allowed them to take trips home using public transport. Anyway, the cost of Japan's economy could be, I don't know, serious. The possible implications for the Summer Olympics in Tokyo if this thing gets around, almost unthinkable. Anyway, let's just hope for the best. And by the way, that's the end of the cruise ship business in Asia for the time being. Bookings for trips in the area off sharply, very sharply. Okay, there are no bookings, not one, done, finished for the year.